Welcome to the Creator Shop. Now let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am your host, Half Pint the Creator, and welcome to the Creator Show, giving you honest conversation served with humor and energy. So today, for music to my ears, I know this may sound childish, but the song is Almost There by Princess and the Frog. That is my favorite song out of the whole movie. If you have not seen it, which I'm pretty sure everybody has seen Princess and the Frog. Go listen to that song. It has so much meaning to it, and I definitely can relate to it. I love I love that song. So instead of a WTF moment, I have a yay moment. So these last couple of weeks have been very, how can I say, is transformative and beautiful. When I say it's been a shift, it's been a big shift for me. So I have been in this group called Business Besties, and they had a Zoom. Shout out to Mika Diamond, and something was telling me, hey, don't go to the Zoom, and something was telling me go to the Zoom. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the Zoom, whatever. See, network or do whatever. And I'm glad I did. Because if you are friends with me on Facebook, you saw me doing a 5-day challenge called the Unmute Challenge, which was hosted by Miss Rebecca Davis, which that challenge in itself was amazing because this is the first time I ever completed anything and not giving up. And I feel like it was coming, I feel like it was because there was accountability in the group. When I say my life has changed within this time span, it was amazing. But back to the story. So I went to the Zoom and I'm like, okay, I'm going, being burned in the past when it comes to business, I just was like, I'm very watchful of who I, you know, click with or whatever. And I'm like, let me go. I've posted in the group before, but I was like, let me go. Let me meet some of these women. And when I say some of these, most of these women that I met it was very inspiring because they're walking the walk and talking the talk. And it's amazing to see them having multiple businesses. Some of them having multiple businesses while working and taking care of kids, which I think that is just amazing in itself. And it was just mind-boggling. So, as I said, if you're on my regular Facebook, you saw that I was doing the Unmute Challenge. And I'm glad that I went to the Business Bestie Zoom. I don't know. Actually, I do know where I would be. I would not have become more vocal with my podcast and just not even being more vocal, but working to be more vocal on my podcast and, standing in my truth because that challenge really helped me stand in my truth. And even though it makes others feel uncomfortable, you have to stand in your truth. And even though they're projecting their insecurities on you, you still have to stand in your truth. And like I said, it has helped me so, so much. I want to thank Miss Rebecca Davis. I want to say this challenge has changed my life. I think I said that already, but it has truly changed my life. And I'm in the challenge. I have met so many women who have been through the same thing that I've been through with being silenced from not only adulthood but as a child. So I'm thankful that I have a circle of women around me, a solid circle of women around me who will pray for me, who will help me out, who will give me business advice, who will ask me, you know, you know, who will ask me for help. Because, it's that thing of a generational thing where just because we are younger and, us millennials are younger and we don't know nothing, there's some of us that don't listen. I was one of them once upon a time. And there's some older people who don't listen, and it's amazing to have some women reach out and ask, for help. And I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? Which I didn't have no problem, free of charge. And it was amazing. But like I said, I want to give a shout out to, as I call her, my fairy god sister, Mika Diamond. Thank you so much for allowing me into your space. And also, again, Miss Rebecca Davis for creating a platform to help me unmute myself. So that was my yay moment. So now the topic of the week is grieving isn't easy. There is a lot of people who, whether you're grieving somebody, this is for whether you're grieving somebody who has transitioned or you're grieving somebody that's alive. But for me, it's more so grieving. It's both. It's grieving somebody alive and also grieving somebody that has transitioned. But it's more so grieving somebody that has transitioned. So, just to give you a backstory, for those that know, and I'm trying to get through this without crying, but I know it's going to happen. For those that know me, know my grandfather is my world. He practically raised me, and he was my heart. He was my backbone. Prior to him passing, something told me, go see him. The spirit told me, go see him. And this was about a week and a half, 2 weeks before he had transitioned. And we talked, we laughed, we joked. We have an inside joke of Friday because that was our favorite movie to watch. And, he's like, hey, Craig, hey, I'm like, hey, Craig. He's like, hey, Smokey, what's up? But it was just something in his voice that I knew he was tired. I saw it in his face. Even though like I said, I just seen it in his face and I just knew he was tired. He had been in and out of the hospital, but he would always bounce back and come back, And this time I felt it in my spirit that I just knew that I would pray that he would come back, but it was just a part of me was like, he's getting ready to, I don't want to be negative about it, but I just felt it in my soul that he was tired. Because my grandfather he was a fighter. He did not complain. He did what he had to do. But I knew this time he was tired. And it was just a normal day. It was just a normal day. And this Fast forward, I was at work. My uncle had called me, and he actually, let me rewind it back. Oh, I cannot remember the day, but that day he actually had to go to the hospital. And I'm still an optimistic person. I'm like, he's gonna make it out, even though prior he just looked tired. And he he stayed in the hospital, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna come out. Then fast forward, I was at work. My uncle had called me and let me know, they're trying or whatever to keep him alive. And then he he they had to pull the plug. I hate that I wasn't there. I was at work, and at this job I was at, they were acting like they didn't want to let me go. I'm like, y'all gotta let me go. And my uncle and his wife had came and got me from work or whatever, and my stomach dropped to the floor. My uncle's my uncle's wife, Key, walked me back there, and I whew, it was a lot, and he was gone. I hate that I didn't get to hug him. I didn't get to kiss him, and just to see him there, the the happy, smiling person was gone. He was gone. Like, I was banging on the window, and I was hoping he would get up. I felt like I was in a dream. I felt like I was in a dream, and I was hoping he would get up, but in actuality, I knew he was gone. I knew he was gone, and it hurt so bad because he was my world. He freaking right. That was my daddy, and it's crazy because yes, I did have a dad, but he wasn't in my life like that. He was in and out. But my granny would always say, "Go ask your daddy." Even as a kid, I'm like, "My daddy." I'm like, as a kid, like, "Is that my daddy?" But then it's like, as I got older, I understood. You know, and like I said, he raised me. Any question that I had, even if I just wanted to ramble, he always listened. And if I knew when I was talking too much, because he would give me this look, and I'd be like, okay, I'll be quiet. And he just, like I said, he was my heart. He he gave me a laugh. He gave me a laugh, and he's the part of the reason why I like to read and history and music. And it was crazy because even though he grew up in a different era than I did, he knew a lot about our music. And I think one day he was like, he said something, and he was talking about Lil Wayne and Jay-Z. And I'm looking at him like, what you know about Lil Wayne and Jay-Z? And he was like, just because I'm old, don't mean nothing or whatever. And those are the memories that I have of him, and just cracking jokes and just having a good time. And with grieving, for me, this is like me really talking about it because I really haven't really like talked about it. But grieving for me and just grieving his transition, even it's been hard because he's not here physically, but I know he's here spiritually because I can feel him. And he used to wear Brute, and I could smell his Brute. I could smell his Old Spice. I could hear his footsteps because he was heavy foot, so I can hear heavy footsteps, and that's probably where I get it from because I walk hard too, and I can hear him, and I think that has made the grieving process a lot easier. And some days I do cry because it's something it hits you. We don't talk about how grieving, it just hits you out of nowhere, and then you can see something that reminds you of that person, and you're just like, you just cry. And some people don't get it, and some people are not emotional. Some people don't tap into that emotional side, which is fine. And it's fine to a certain degree, but at some point you have to let it out, whether it be via journal or just crying or just talking to someone or even go see a therapist or whatever. And it has been a process for me, but it has, like I said, when I feel his presence, it eases it sometime and whatnot. And some days I just want to boohoo and cry. And like around this time, like holidays, even though I have family that's alive and whatnot, you it still doesn't suffice of him. It still doesn't fill that void and whatnot. And it's hard. I'm not gonna say it isn't easy, but it's hard, especially around like I said, especially around the holidays and his birthday and even his death. It's been August 21, so it's been 4 years, and I have my days, and like I said, I keep rambling over again, but I have my days and whatnot, but I know he's here because he was an emotional person, so I know I could hear him say, "What you crying for?" And that, like I said, that eases him because I can hear his voice and what you crying for, or whatever. So like I said, it eases it and whatnot. So I have things that keep me going and keeping his legacy of hard work and great his legacy of hard work and greatness going because he was a great man. He raised 7 kids, grandkids, and I'm thankful that my little cousins got to experience him before he transitioned. I'm I'm I wish, you wish those things that my nieces, I wish they got to experience their great grandfather, before he passed. Because he was great. He loved kids. He loved us. Unless you got on his nerves, he was going to let you know. He's give you that one look like, hey, you doing too much or whatever. Or whatnot. He was a man of less words. He was a man of few words. And if he said something to you, it was going to be truthful and it was going to be honest. And don't get on his nerves. Don't get on his bad side because you was going to have a problem. When he told you to do something, you better have done it because it was going to be a problem. Especially when we would be playing in the house. And like I said, my grandfather had heavy feet, so we could hear him coming down the hallway. And by the time he got there, we would stop and he would be like, "What y'all doing? Nothing." And he looked like, "I know y'all was doing something because I done heard y'all," or whatever. So those are the memories that I had. Just having conversation and having conversations about politics. I really don't have conversation about politics as much because, of course, that was our thing. And like I said, that void. Nobody gives great conversation like my grandfather. He was a great conversationalist. He was a realist too. It was, it was being truthful and honest. He wasn't fraud and he wasn't gonna fake it. He definitely wasn't gonna fake it and whatnot. So for people who are grieving, it's gonna get easy. It's gonna get easy. It's gonna get, let me rephrase that. It's gonna get harder before it gets easy. Like I said, just get it out because keeping it in, it's gonna be no good. It's gonna be eating you alive. Like it did me. Cope the right way. I say cope the right way because I I'm not, prior to this, I'm not a drinker and I'm not a smoker. But prior to this, I pretty much was spiraling. I was very much spiraling. I never told nobody this, but I was pretty much spiraling because, like I said, that was my heart. That was my dad. That was, you know, my right hand. And I could go to him for anything. But I was definitely spiraling, heavy in smoking, heavy in drinking, and just could remember trying to be involved with people, and it just didn't pan out. I say, just from experience, when you grieve, take time to yourself. Take time to yourself because I can remember I was trying to talk to be involved with somebody, and while grieving, I that wasn't the proper way for me. That wasn't proper way to grieve because I wasn't in my right headspace and I was going into a deeper hole. But like I said, I'm not a drinker. Anybody that know me, I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. But I was definitely spiraling. I could not work. I could not think. I was barely eating and whatnot. But I had to shake. It took me a while to like shake back because you, like I said, that person is not coming back physically, but they're here spiritually. Because I can definitely feel, like I said, I definitely can feel his presence. Because it's been certain situations where I almost got, and I knew that was nothing but him. I felt it. I knew that was nothing but him and whatnot. But I'm grateful for the times that we shared. Like I said, I pretty much knew that he was tired. So I pretty much knew that he was tired. So it was, I was sad, but I wasn't as sad because I can remember those moments that we had those good times and watching movies and just cracking jokes or whatever. But like I said, grief, life is too short. Life is too damn short. Love on your people. It, like I said, love on your people. And this goes into my next. The next is grieving somebody that's alive. It has been hard. I've grieved a lot of people that we've had good times, we have bad times. And you have to, grieving people is hard because they're alive and things are one sided. And you want to make things right, but it's like, how can you make things right if that person is not trying to make it right? So therefore, I just had to cut ties with a lot of people who I've tried to make things right and have honest conversations. And I think one thing for me saying no, me doing me, and me being an adult and maturing into an adult, like, hey, setting boundaries, it's like, hey, I can't do this no more. You know, you want to have those conversations with those people. But like I said, if one person is wanting and the other person is not, what are you supposed to do? And another thing, for me, this is my opinion, closure is a bunch of bullcrap. Because it's like, you don't need closure. Especially if that person, like I said, if that person is not willing to have that conversation, an honest conversation, not just say a conversation, an honest conversation and comprehend what you're saying, then there's no need to have a conversation. So I had to grieve a lot of people. I had to grieve the good times, you know. So at one point I was like, what could it have been? If it could have been, it would have stayed. It, like I've learned, God is not the author of confusion. So if it confuses you, if it confuses you, you see, you have to question where you stand with some people, then it's not for you. Because what is meant for you will come back to you in due time, or when you're ready for it and whatnot. So, like I said, I had to grieve a lot of people. It was painful, but I knew it was something I had to do to go to the next level. And because, like I've learned, everybody can't go with you. And like I said in the previous episode, takers are not going to say no. They're going to allow you to. They're going to allow you to keep going until you set those boundaries. That's why I say boundaries are very important and whatnot. But grieve those people that are alive, and also grieve those people that have transitioned, so it can be better on you. And then with grieving somebody that's alive, most likely those people have moved on with their life. So, oh, excuse me, that water good. Most of the time, those people have moved on with their life. They're not even studying you. And that's what I had to learn. A lot of people are not studying you. Once I moved, most of those phone calls had stopped. So therefore that gave me the inkling to like not talk to folks no more. And I just, because to go back what I said before, my brain went left. Nobody, now that I have matured into this adult, I feel as people don't know how to receive me as this 36-year-old who is speaking her mind and whatnot, because my phone is open, like my social media is open. It's some people that are blocked, but there's some people that are not blocked. I want to have those conversations, but if we're not going to be, like I said, be honest and comprehend, then I don't want to have those conversations. But I'm willing to have conversations with people, but like I said, those people don't want to have those conversations because they don't know how to receive me. And I'm just like, let's have those conversations so we can move forward, because life is too short. Life is too short because somebody didn't wake up this morning and whatnot. So I know this was kind of a downer episode, but it was on my heart to get it out. But remember, spread love and peace, because there's enough negativity in the world.